in the past about how the large language models work, right? So maybe this particular conversation can be a bridging conversation on what we have discussed so far, and how do we actually go deeper into this journey, specifically with when it comes to LLMs. Right? And today we are going to explore the local LLMs. Um, and let me talk about local LLMs when we reach there. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know once you see it. Okay. So if you can recall, we'll do a very quick recap. I do not want to spend too much time on this. I hope you are able to recall that we have already discussed that what LLM is, right? It is more of a prediction engine where it's a mathematical model where it learns from the different languages, right? And try to predict the next possible word. This is how the overall system works, right? And it is based on that the algorithms primarily on the transformer engine, right? And we should not have any kind of misconception that it's a database, it's a reasoning machine, and so on, right? And it is, of course, it is not. At least it is not positioned as that it is going to replace the human judgment. Human judgment that will remain as is. We also spoke about how this journey has been. Artificial intelligence, we have already spoken about this subset of a subset of intelligence is machine learning. Machine learning subset is deep learning, and generative AI is a part of deep learning, right? And whatever we have discussed so far on deep learning, right? Whether we have gone through the neural networks, how those weights, how those biases work, right? Everything comes together when we talk about generative AI. So uh, tomorrow, and I would like to ask a question here from the forum. Lot many times when we talk about LLMs, we say that okay, it has been trained on billion parameters. What does that mean? Anyone? And we have actually spoken about it in the previous conversations. So any guesses? We should, yeah.
Different features.
And can you explain that for a bit more? What is featured
Okay.
here?
Feature in the sense, I'll take an example. Let's talk about different identifying a different fruits, right? So to train our LLM is trained or fed with different parameters here: the color, the sweetness, I mean the taste, the flavor, the shape. So
Yeah,
XYZ. So which
yeah,
we can consider as features in simple terminology. So that is what my understanding.
yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Uh, okay. I think so. So Vishu, if you can recall the uh, the diagram that we have been using to represent a neural network, right? We have got input layer, right? If you can recall, maybe in this deck also we will have that representation. We have an input layer where we are receiving some inputs, right? It can also be in case of vision models. It is the retina, right? I'm getting something. I'm looking into this particular laptop, right? I'm getting some signals, right? And then there are a lot of hidden layers, right? And then finally, it reaches a place where the judgment is taken. Correct. So this is the overall architecture. Correct. Are
Yes.
you with me on that? Right. Now, what is happening when the signals are moving from one layer to another, right? Which are hidden layers. We spoke about there are weights and there are bias, right? Weight is how much importance should be given to a particular signal, right? and bias is our own understanding of the system. The two concepts, weights and bias, we have already discussed, right? And together, when they come, we mathematically kind of calculated it and identified, okay, this is probably the output, right? So these weights and biases, when we talk about the number of parameters, primarily we are talking about these weights and biases, right? So it's not about the way features were considered when we were working on machine learning, particularly. I'm sorry, uh, machine learning algorithms, where we were talking about uh, uh, supervised models, right? Where in case if you are predicting whether a flight is going to get delayed, you're looking into the different parameters such as the carrier, maybe the airport, the traffic conditions and all, right? So those are features, right? However, in this particular case, it is not about features. It is about the weights, how the signals are moving from one hidden layer to another, right? What is the bias? What is the weight that is involved? I hope, Vishu, you have understood this.
Yeah, yeah, got it, sir. Yep, yep.
Yeah. And I hope, Yogita, Lakshya, Basti, you also would have understood this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sure. So I think that we have also spoke about the how this has got evolved. We had statistical learning models, then we had RNN, LTSM, word vectors. I mean, this is more of about LLM journeys. In case if this any of these words, any of these keywords are not known to you, please spend some time in understanding. We have, as we have already covered, so I will not go too much into them. Right? If you look at this, this is how the LLMs work. Um, it works on the predictability. So it has got a predictive model inside it, and it identifies after the what will be the next possible word. Maybe there can be number of words that can actually be taken up, right? So it will pick up the word which has got the maximum probability. After the second word, I mean, if you have put up the, it will probably pick up a word. Maybe this is, in this particular instance, is quick. And the moment you pick up quick, the next word could be brown. The next word could be fox. So it, in a way, it is just trying to understand what is the next possible word, a number, right, whatsoever. So this is how LLMs work, right? We have already spoken about it, right? And again, this is the pictorial representation. If somebody has written down, I love eating, right? The as per the data that has been gathered, right? Uh, Cake has got the maximum probability. So what the LLM would do? It will pick up the word cake. So the entire sentence will be the completed one will be I love eating cake, right? This is how it works. And I'm rushing through this because we have already spoken about it, right? A lot of questions, a lot of people ask this question that how the data has been gathered for LLMs. It is primarily the data which is already available in the form of pages on internet. That is the biggest possible source. Then the books, the different literature, they also have been, they also become a part of uh, the LLM, right? And then a lot of proprietary data also has been bought. Right? Again, it depends from the different LLM. If it is OpenAI, it may have some different level of details. Uh, uh, Google Gemini, it may have a different level of details. And there is, while we are speaking about all these things, there is a lot of competition which is happening between OpenAI and Gemini. In some of the aspects, now people have started saying that Gemini is much more powerful, right? So when you are working in your organization and if you are working in some capacity which is where there is a leadership role, right? So say, Vishu, in case, sorry, I'm picking up your name, just in case if you have, you are supposed to decide uh, from a test management standpoint, right? What will be the framework? What will be the overall architecture? So some of these decisions you have to really understand that between Gemini and OpenAI is going to be a very interesting debate in front of you, and there will be certain parameters that you need to take into consideration. Also, you need to take into consideration what is the company dynamics, right? Similarly, Yogita, in case you have to decide, you also have to think through that the size of the company that you are a part of, right? And the kind of integration that we already have done within Agilex, right? So all those parameters you need to consider. While when it comes to Lakshya, you right, I think it is going to be all over. So you need to, because as a student, right, uh, you wouldn't have too many choices. So you probably have to pick up top three LLMs or top two LLMs and understand what is happening in them, right? So that when you get into any kind of conversation or you get into any kind of implementation, you are you are very well versed, right? So uh, again, some of these competitive articles, what is happening in these two different spaces, at least these two, right? And also you can add Anthropic. I think these three different organizations, they are doing quite a remarkable work. Right? So in case if you can spend some time looking into the articles, you can subscribe to some of the magazines and all. That will be pretty helpful to keep yourself updated. We also spoke about randomness. So this is important because it is going to come in the local LLMs as well. When we talk about randomness, what does that mean? If you give a prompt, if you are getting the same response, that means there is no randomness. And now, whether it is good, bad, ugly, that depends on the use case that you are working on, the problem statement that you are working on. In case if you want a very focused response, something which can be repeated, where there is no contradiction between the response A and the response B, and you see that okay, it's almost similar. That's where the randomness is minimum. In case if you want some kind of creative responses, right? You want to understand maybe certain you want to bring different perspectives to the same problem, right? That's where you can allow some randomness to be there, right? And this is more from towards the creativity standpoint. So we also had discussed that how temperature works, right? So if it is 0 to 0.3, it is more focused, it is more deterministic. At the same time, it is very much robotic, right? So there is no creativity, there is no change. Uh, when it comes to creative, the temperature is this is the recommendation which is given, right? And it should be between 0.8 and 1.2. Now, as an organization, right, if you are implementing an LLM, local LLM, some of these parameters you can actually configure. So that's why it becomes important, right? While it comes to OpenAI or Gemini, right, you can't do much about it because it is already predefined. It is embedded in the model. Uh, so when you are dealing with those models, all you need to know is that okay, what is the temperature, what is the hallucination level, and so on. However, in local LLMs, you can actually set it up. We also spoke about hallucination. Hallucination is responding to a question with incorrectly with a lot of confidence, as simple as that. And why it happens so? Because LLMs are designed in a way that it is supposed to respond. Uh, Whatever the case is, they are supposed to respond, right? But one of the things which you can do is to, when you're giving a prompt, ask uh, the LLM, please do not hallucinate. If you do not know, please let us know. I mean, these are some of the smart additions you can do into your prompt. Now, again, in terms of hallucination, Gemini is actually much better than uh, OpenAI. OpenAI is remarkable when it comes to reasoning. And I think a prompt we will let it go. We spoke about how the prompt engineering should be done. I think it is very basic. We picked up one of the prompt which was more from the healthcare standpoint. I remember it resonated very well with Vishu because you come from the same organization. And this is a big prompt that we had created using ChatGPT itself. This is important for us to know. Please revisit some of these aspects, that how you can compare the different LLMs, and what will be your decision criteria. Your decision criteria can be sitting at here, hallucination, where you do not want the models to hallucinate. You want a strong reasoning to be done. Again, one of these models can be picked up on that, on the basis. Maybe the price is also a parameter, right? So here, if Gemini is, sorry, OpenAI is the most expensive one among all. You can take up this particular table. Maybe you can refresh it as well at your end, because some of these things would have changed. Um, Gemini parameters have changed. GPT 5.3, 5.2 already has been released, so some of these parameters would have changed. So you can refresh it, and maybe once you define your own way of benchmarking a particular LLM, after a specific period, maybe a month, 2 months or so, you need to refresh it. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. I think yes. I think we. So this was primarily a recap. Now we can actually move on to the topic for the day. Yeah. Now let's uh, let's talk about certain aspects. I think so far we are working in a capacity where we need some responses. Right? Maybe we are thinking more from a individual standpoint. We are not thinking from organization standpoints. So what does that mean? Let's take an example. Say you are you're a part of a government, um, and there are certain tenders that you want to evaluate. Uh, and let's take this forward. Maybe the tenders have been given, right? And now what you want to do is to evaluate the responses that has come from different vendors. Is that a fair problem statement? Are you with me on this?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Let's elevate the challenge here. Let's assume that these tenders have been invited more from the mm, ammunition standpoint, right? Maybe you're ordering some missiles and all, right? I mean, I'm just trying to elevate the security aspects. Now there are 100 different organizations who have actually submitted their proposal, and you want to summarize them, compare them, right, and review them, of course, right? Uh, Now imagine that one of your team members, if you are actually heading this, and this is a hypothetical one, right? Um, Imagine that your team members have uploaded these documents into any of these LLMs, and they are taking their help to compare. The responses will be fantastic, right? Most likely, because it is going to um, uh, ensure that minimum time is taken. Uh, the quality of output is actually nowadays it is phenomenal. Summarization works wow, comparison works wow, right? And it is able to identify the parameters. And in case if you can give a template that these are the different parameters on which you want to do a comparison, OpenAI or Gemini, I think they will be able to bring up the details for you. Is it a good use case? Um, Anyone? Do you find that this usage of LLM is good? You see a flaw? Are you with me? Can somebody acknowledge if you are able
Yeah,
to hear
yes,
me?
sir.
Yeah. I'm wondering why there is no response. Do you think that is a good use case? Lakshya, Yogita, Mushri, and Laksh. भाई कोई तो बोलो. We Yogita, you there in the call? Lakshya? What's
Hello,
happening?
can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Oh yeah, yeah, Yogita, we can hear you now.
Sorry, there
Uh,
is a network problem. Can you
uh
repeat?
Okay, I actually gave a big context. I gave a situation wherein you're a part of. The tenders have been invited on some, and you're working in the federal part. You are working for Indian government, right? You have released a tender for building some or buying some in the lobby, buying some missiles, right? And the different vendors, they have actually responded to you. Uh, so they have responded to the tender that you have given. There are proposals that have been submitted. Now you want to summarize these proposals, and you want to do a comparison. The responses from the different vendors are like 200 pages. These are PDFs, right? And maybe there are 100 different vendors who have actually responded to the proposal. Now, what you do, what one of your team member actually uploads these documents into OpenAI, right, and ask for a comparison based on the a given template. Maybe 10 different parameters on the basis of which a particular tender will be evaluated. In response, OpenAI gives a fantastic answer, wherein the different parameters for different tenders, they have been filled up. OpenAI also identify that okay, these are the top three vendors who have responded to your proposals, and their proposals look good. It can also do a very comprehensive check based on the kind of credibility that they have in the system. All that reasoning it can do, right? Uh, Now the question is that, is it a good use case, Yogita?
Yes, it
Good
is a
use case
good
for
case.
okay, okay. You see, what is that good, and what are the challenges if you see any?
First of all, if we read about the all the PDF, making a PDF readable, and it is very time consuming. So by using OpenAI or any AI tool, it compares minimal micro level things as well. So there is a less human errors where focusing also as well, where we have to focus on major part of our tenders, and will not miss by AI if we uh, prompt in a very well dictate in a very well way. So I think it will be better usable while you getting comparing the PDF from AI.
Anyone else? Uh, Laksh.
Yeah, so but if we can do like that to upload our PD, upload the same PDFs, the same quotations we can say to the the different vendors on the OpenAI or any other AI model. So it is about the national security also, no? Mm, like there are security concerns for that, to directly. given the confidential data or something to the AI. We can do like the differentiation between the vendors is quite easy for us. Like it will helpful for us. Like it will give the same exact response like the one we wanted in much fewer time. But
Yeah.
what about the security concerns? Like the model, how what is like the type of model? Like the how on are we uploading the data that I'm thinking about.
Yeah. I think Lakshya, I'll pause you your response for a minute. Vishu, you want to say something?
Yeah, so the same what Lakshya has mentioned, I just want to add few more things. So one is the national security or whatever data we are trying to share. The for the objective we are trying to achieve is compare the different what you say proposals provided by different vendors. So where we need to provide some database input or whatever or PDF documents, whatever to the models. So where we might lose our, there is a chance of breach in national security and the cost. One is the other one is the cost. So if we have set up or if there is in-house any model that can help us solve our purpose, we can repeatedly or use it multiple times. So that is one part, and we can fine tune as per our requirements with different parameters, as you mentioned, right? So as per our specific need.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think these are the few points I want to add to what Laksh
Okay,
mentioned.
okay. I think Laksh, full points to you. Uh, uh, um, uh, the national security is very important out here, right? And I purposely gave this example so that when we are using uh, such frameworks, mm, such technologies, we got to get into the shoes of the organizations as well at times, right? Not always, but yes, we have to think holistically. Now, these standards, um, they will be carrying a lot of information which actually would have been given in the tender itself. That what kind of these missiles would be, what would be their range, and so on and so forth, right? So uh, uh, when yes, just a second. Yeah, yeah. So when we are picking up this example, it becomes important that we think of the use case holistically, right? And that's where uh, adding some of these details uh, into OpenAI, right, which is actually an organization located in US. The moment we do it, we do not know about it, right? No matter how much confidence OpenAI would share it back to you, um, it is it is the organization who has to take this decision, right? What kind of details they can actually share with any of the third party, correct? Now, if we are working in a commercial organization, if you are working in Optum, if you are working in AGLX, right, we will have our own sensitivity level. I hope you agree, right? But the moment we are working for federal, we are working for government, our uh, uh, our expectations will be very different. Now, the people at the top, right, when they communicate to each other, there are secured lines and all, right? You would have seen in the movies as well, right? But the people at the bottom or maybe somewhere in between, they are getting exposed to these technologies, right? And uh, we as holding that information, we should be very cognizant, we should be very careful while we are dealing with such kind of information. Now that's where uh, uh, it becomes very important that when you're uploading any of these data which is kind of a proprietary for the organization, you want to share with LLMs. Lot many times the responses from the organization is no. Now how do we deal with that? So maybe if you are a product company, maybe for example AGLX, as a product company, maybe we are not carrying sensitive data. Now, whose data? Because we are into product development, right? So, just for the understanding of others who are not from Agilix, Agilix is an organization which builds products which are primarily targeted for commercial insurance. Now, when we are building products, uh, we are not getting exposed to the risk. The risk is for those customers who are buying this product, right, and pushing their data into it. So the risk is with them, and they need to decide if they are going to go with the LLMs, or they want some algorithms to be built, which is a part of the software, right? It is up to them, right? And when we are building products, sometimes we actually give this both the op choices. However, Vishu, if we talk about you and your organization, right? It is completely up to you guys. If you are if you have got some details which is around healthcare, uh, maybe some kind of diagnosis and or something which is in the research, you may not want this to go out. It is also possible when you are dealing with some kind of patient related data, right, which is kind of a PI. I would not want my data in case if I'm in a hospital. I do not want my data to get exposed to the outside world, right? I probably, in case that happens, I probably will go back and sue United, right? I can do that, and most likely there will be a lot of sentiments towards me from the legal standpoint, right? So we do not want such kind of data to get exposed. So the response, and at the same time, I think we have seen the power of LLMs. We have seen that how good they are. So how do we make best usage? How we bring those um, um, I mean that advantage, if we can bring in uh, the powerful features that LLM have, the advantages of usage of LLM has, right? If we can bring it into our own solutions, that is pretty much the desire of the leadership, right? And at the same time, I think while you are taking a decision at the architecture level, you also would want that, okay, some of these problems have been solved, why I want to reinvent the wheel, correct? So now, in a way, the power that LLM brings into the system is kind of non-negotiable, right? You want it into your system. So how do you do it? And that's where the local LLMs comes into the picture. Local LLMs are uh, they are implementation of LLMs, but they are local in your system. So what does that mean? Um, that means that you have downloaded literally, right? You can take me as verbatim, word to word. We have downloaded an LLM. It is hosted on your system, on your laptop, or maybe in within your organization, which is connected with LAN. Now, once you have downloaded, you can train it, you can share your own data, and it will not require internet connectivity even to respond to the questions that you have. Now, what does that mean? I mean, I hope you understand how the LAN works, right? Within the organization, you can build the way any other um, uh, web portal or any other client server application works. Similarly, within the LAN, where the connection is only within the organization, right? You can fetch data. You can client server mechanism can work out there as well. Client server here would mean client who is asking for some information, server which is actually responding to those requests, right? Now, in a way, what we have done, uh, we have taken up an LLM and have converted into a knowledge knowledge based server, right? Where all your knowledge articles, the information or the capability that LLM would have in to generate some data or some generate some responses, and also your proprietary data. Right? Now imagine if you go back to the previous example, if you have implemented this for government, right? Wherein all those proposals have been uploaded into the local LLM, which is actually working in a disconnected mode. Once you have downloaded this, it is now a proprietary thing for you. So it is completely encapsulated. I mean, there is a firewall. अभी बाहर जा ही नहीं सकता data, right? And you build this LLM in a way that it can respond to the tenders, it can respond to any other queries, it can respond to any kind of uh, uh, any kind of I mean, it can process any kind of data which has got high sensitivity. So the information remains within the organization boundaries. It is not going out, and that's the response. That's the answer that we have for LLMs. That's local LLM, right? You can build it, you can train it, and you can use it. And many organizations are actually going into this way. This approach is whether it is healthcare, federal, of course, and they're not talking about it. A couple of days back, I went to a conference and I was speaking to somebody, and they are talking about that how some of the organizations that they have onboarded, they are building local LLMs for them. So, and these people who I am referring to, they are from the federal, from the government. So you can imagine that how powerful that could be. Right? Again, it has got its own challenges as well. I mean, since it has got both the sides of the coin, right? So great, and also there are some challenges when you are when you have downloaded a particular LLM into your system. It comes with some kind of capabilities. It can be a basic one where there is no capability. It has actually all the data. You have to train it, and you will take a lot. It will take a lot of time for you to do it. It's a very, very basic model. Right? The other model is where it actually already has been trained. So most of the capability that you would see in GPT or Gemini, right, it is already there. Uh, However, and then you push your own data. And in terms of RAG architecture, we will talk about it. Uh, in a way, it understand the proprietary aspect. It understand the organization related aspects which are not there in the public LLM. Right now, the one of the challenges could be that the other model, which is OpenAI, which is available for public, it is getting refreshed. It is more and more feature, and it is becoming more and more stronger. So maybe there will be lack of sync. So if you have got 5.2, which has you have downloaded, right? And maybe in 6 months it actually moves from 5.26 6 to 7 and all, so there is a version mismatch, right? Now this version mismatch may not be an issue, but the expectation that you have from now, that the latest version of LLM versus what you have in the system, there can be a difference, right? So I mean, we have to figure it out how that can be solved, and it's a moving situation. While we're talking about LLMs, local LLMs, right? A lot of organizations are working on it. A lot of challenges they have already identified, and a lot of work is being carried out. So maybe in the 6 months, when we again reconvene, we meet around this topic, you will have some more information. There will be certain updates would have come from the industry. Maybe the frameworks that I'm going to talk about, they also would have refreshed by then. So I hope we understood the concept of LLM, why it is required, right? Any question on that? So do we understand this, that the local LLM is actually a large language model which is directly deployed on your local machine. It can be a laptop, it can be on on-premise server. Now the shift is that we are moving from OpenAI, Google, towards something which is local, right? And local implementation is doing some frameworks, Llama, Mistral, Gamma. We'll talk about it, right? It has the capability that it can run without internet connection. I hope these aspects are clear. Can you please acknowledge?
Yes, sir.
Now, common use cases we have discussed. In case if there are any kind of chatbots, or privacy concerns. Now, coding assistants. I think this is a great example. Uh, uh, you have your own code base, right? Um, so maybe the code base which Agilix team carry, right? It's a product company. That we do not want to expose the code to the outside world, and we want uh, the code that we are trying to generate as developers, it should be very much relevant with the context that we have in Agilix. Uh, I think um, maybe in some time from now, almost people will not be writing the code. They will be writing the prompts. The code will be generated by LLMs. Fine. Some minor tweaking will be done. At this point in time, uh, when I talk to different product companies, the engineers who are working out there, they say that almost 50 to 60%, and this is a number the company also has gathered. 50 to 60% of the code is actually written by LLM these days, right? And then 30-40% is more about the local logic that they have to write. Right now, imagine if you have built a local LLM and you have exposed the proprietary source code into your local LLM, right? And then you generate the code which understands your context, which understands your system, which understands all kind of frameworks, APIs, integration aspects. Uh, Imagine that though that 40% is also getting reduced, maybe 10%, by 20%. I do not know because this is more from the experimental standpoint, but for sure there will be some change in the scenario. Right? So it's a very good example where LLM can be implemented. Summarization, we already have spoken about the example that we took up. It's important from that perspective. Uh, and then in case if you want to develop some agents, maybe I can pause this particular part because in the days to come we will talk more and more about agentic AI, and as a team we will be developing some of the agents so that we understand how things are happening on the ground, right? So these are some of the use cases. uh, while we are talking about this, there are certain risks, there are certain challenges also, and maybe if the configuration is not done well, because the moment you bring the local I mean the LLM into a local systems, the complete responsibility is with you. You cannot go and blame OpenAI, or you cannot go and blame Gemini. So whatever is happening now is happening within the organizational boundaries, and as a technologist you are responsible for it, or maybe you are part of the team who is responsible for it, right? So in case if the configurations are not done, if there is a lack of awareness about some of the aspects, or maybe uh, some of these local LLMs, uh, they are not very transparent in their functionality, right? So you will have very little confidence in them, and of course the onus will come onto you. uh, Model memorization is more about where overfitting is happening. So if you can recall, uh, in the machine learning part, we spoke about underfitting and overfitting. Anybody who can recall it? Test of memory, your memory. Laksh, Yogita, Vishu, Lakshya. Okay, so I think while no, it is important for everyone, but Lakshya in particularly for you, if from academic standpoint, uh, understanding overfitting and underfitting is very critical, and also from the technical interviews, technical conversations is going to be important. So overfitting is when you give some data and in a way the model that you have developed, it only focuses on that. I mean, it train itself in a way that the training test output is like it is 95% accurate, 98% accurate, right? Maybe it has not taken every aspects into consideration. So while the model is working absolutely fine in the test condition where the accuracy is very high, the moment you put it into the production, because it is overfitted on the given data, the moment the data set changes, the model collapse. So this is what actually happens in the overfitting scenario. So here what we are trying to do is to highlight the risk associated that when you are uh, 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 using local LLM and you are passing your proprietary data, because it is small in size, it may actually fit itself into it. And the moment that small size data changes, maybe some additional data comes into the picture, it actually fails. Then there are some security vulnerabilities, and there is also a phenomenon which is called catastrophic forgetting, right? So on whatever parameters the local LLM, I mean the LLM which has been trained, there is a possibility after a period of time it can actually forget that, and that is what is called as catastrophic forgetting. I mean, this is more theoretical because I have also not seen it, but it is one of the potential risks that has been identified by the people who are working in this particular dimension. I hope I'm making myself clear. Any questions on this? Okay. Okay. So let me quickly move on. Some of the organizations who are already working, and you probably will not find too much detail because people do not want to expose that how the LLMs are getting implemented. They do not want to explore, expose their use cases. But this is what I have read. Some of these organizations, Airbus, Intel, Netflix, these are known one, Apple, right? They are kind of using, apart from many other aspects, and they are also using local LLMs for their own work. But you can imagine that lot of organizations, they have loved the concept of LLMs, and they do not want their proprietary data, or they are concerned about the security aspects. So they want to develop their own local LLMs. Okay, so these are the tools which are available in the market that you can use. I have started using Ollama, right? Ollama, LM Studio, anything LM. So these are some of the tools which are available, and they are built on the framework llama.cpp. So what you can do in order to download this, you can, so what I have done, yeah, you can go on to Ollama. I request you to go on to this website, right? And ollama.com, and from here I have downloaded it. You can also download. Can somebody verify this if they are able to reach to this? And anybody who's actually using the laptop to attend to this conversation, please go ahead and download this. Uh, Once you download this, you will get an interface like this. I have not opened it. Okay, let me open it. Ollama. Yeah. So this is the I. Are you with me? Can I get
Yeah,
an
yeah.
acknowledgement? Yeah. And Laksh, are you able to connect to what I am actually sharing?
Yeah, yes, yes. Actually, I'm trying also.
Yeah.
Like the one you said is you are actually downloaded that the your LLM, which is I think
Correct.
Ollama, correct?
Yeah. It's a interface.
Okay, okay,
It's not a LLM, but it's an interface.
okay,
So I'll go back to the slide. See what we are talking about here is Ollama, LM Studio, anything LLM there, and there can be a few more. They are primarily a graphical interface or command line interface that can help you integrate with large language models. So this is an interface. Now,
okay,
when I download this, this is the interface I see. And if you can follow my cursor, we have got this particular place here. where we are talking about the different models. These are the models that are available in Llama that sorry in Ollama that we can use.
Okay.
Now you can probably see that there is a difference in the icons out here. Now, what does that mean? And there is a suffix as well. So some of these models they have an ending with the cloud. So these are the models which are available in the cloud. These are provided by Ollama, right? And they are calling it as a secured option. Why this is important? We'll come to that. And when you see this particular these models, right, where we have got an arrow, the moment you click it, right, it will start downloading that model into your local system. So this is going to be local in, in your laptop, in your machine, whatever you're using, right? On your phone as well, in case you are using this interface out there. Now, what is the difference? One of the challenges that we have not spoken about, I think I can go back to the slides, and I can. Uh, do we have that? Think I. Oh. I'm so sorry for this. I think I missed out a particular slide. Um, so why this is important? If it is in cloud, that means that the data is actually going into the external world, right? So the entire purpose probably of having secured system is will get defeated, right? You agree with me?
Yeah, yeah, because that one is on cloud.
Yeah, correct. Now there can be a different sensitivity level, Laksh, and others. Maybe for for features like where the national security is involved, where there's a lot of proprietary and intellectual data which you do not want to go out, you would want a a local system which is completely on premise, right? It should not go on to cloud. Whereas uh, some of the organization they can say that okay, on the level of 10, on a scale of 10, the security that is involved maybe it's at the level 5 to 6. We do not want to trust OpenAI, but I think if this environment is completely owned by us and we are already cloud driven, for example, right, we are already hosted on cloud, right, but we want to make sure that this entire thing is only ours, it is not shared, right? That's where this cloud option can come into the picture. There can be some advantages. One of the advantage as a uh, for us as well, I mean as developers, at this point in time, in case if we want to do it and we want to deploy this any of these models, the challenge would be we do not have the right kind of infrastructure available with us. And that's where this particular slide that I was referring to, it talks about the hardware expectation. So
Yeah,
when you are dealing with these LLMs, the hardware expectation is very high, right? And specifically in terms of the processing power. So your CPUs will not work out. We need GPUs. We need gaming systems, RTX and all, right? So I'll share that over WhatsApp. What does that mean? We need high-end PCs, um, and GPUs are non-negotiable. We must have CPUs will not work out, and so these are costly machines that will be required. But in case if we can acquire them and build a model on top of it, I think that will uh, to a very large extent that should be able to help and solve the scenario that we have in front of us. Now, uh, see, uh, some of this is for me also this is theoretical, right? Because and a part of it is practical as well. So in our organization, we tried both the models. We tried local LLMs. We also tried SML. SLM. It is small language model. So if you see here, we have got multiple models. We can download any of these and have it in our system. Some of these models, they are actually very tiny, and that's where SLM comes into the picture. So I spoke about LLM, which is large language model. SLM is small language model, and you must know both these terminologies. The difference is that large language model will be very powerful. Small language model will be less powerful. It will not have all those features. At the same time, it will be very focused and it will require minimum hardware resources, right? So depending on the kind of use case that you are handling, the kind of problem that you're solving, you have to pick up. You have to pick up whether you want to go with the large language model or you have to go with a small language model. And there is a lot of R&D that we are supposed to do. So when we started doing it in our organization, local LLM, we deployed the first response that we got to a prompt that we wrote. The response came after 5 to 6 minutes, but we were happy that at least it responded, right? Because even for the developers, there is these are the high-end PCs that we were using. But you can understand that it is not good enough. If you look at OpenAI, the moment you ask a question, if you are not asking, if you are not pushing it to go into deep thinking mode, it can. The moment you're done with the prompt, it may most likely it will start responding to your question. Waiting for 5 to 6 months is not done at all. Correct. So that did not work out. When we started working on small language model, we were not happy with the output. So these kind of experiments you have to do in your organization and reach a level where you want to you take a decision whether you want to go with SLM, you want to go with LLM, whether these models should be downloaded into your system or you can use the cloud versions. So for Agilex, what I understand, cloud version will work. There is no problem with that. However, with your Vishu, there is a possibility that your organization will not want the data to go on to cloud. And specifically, since they do not have any kind of tie-up with Ollama, they do not want their data to get exposed to this organization, right? So in that case, you may be pushed to download a model into your system and use it from there. Uh, I hope I am making myself clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So try to play with this interface. Download it. Uh, you have to log in, of course. You can use your Google account in case if you have that is handy with you. And this is where low, medium, and high. Right. This is actually kind of it's representing how many parameters, what is the size and all. So low will be more towards the SLM, tiny models. High will be more towards the models which will take billions and billions of parameters and so on. What I and you can also ask questions from here. What I have done, uh, I asked this question. Give me the list of top 10, top 5 institutes. So this is the response that it has given. And it is coming, and this actually has been being responded by this particular large language model, which is available in cloud. Maybe I can pick up, say, Quen and say, give me the list of uh, 3 best cities of India. Let's see what it does. So you don't need to do any configuration on this. Right? This is ready to use. So it has actually given me 3 different cities: Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi. Unfortunately, Delhi should not be a part of this though. But anyways, so it has given some output and it has actually also formatted it well. This is happening on Ollama, right? It is, and this is the LLM which is being used now. this solves one particular part. So this, I am assuming that you will go ahead and do this R&D at your end, right? Uh, can I get a confirmation on that, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it is very straightforward. You will have the recording for this particular session, and literally you can follow the steps. Hardly anything to do. The real scenario will come here. Now, once you have Ollama available with you, and you have identified the model that you are going to use, you can actually upload your proprietary data from here. If you can follow my cursor, uh, you can upload your proprietary data here, right? So what it will do, it will convert into vectors. So we have heard about embeddings. In NLP, we spoke about embeddings, how they work, right? So it will create a vector database or embedding based database, right? And this is how the model that you have identified, it will get trained. Again, it's a very straightforward and simple process. No complexities. Complexities are handled at the level of LLM, and it is happening internally. Now, once you have identified which model you are supposed to use, you have trained it, uh, what you would want from it? You would want that one of your application should get integrated with it, maybe a Python code that can call the this Ollama implementation and ask some questions. Isn't it? This is what we are going to do. Correct? Correct? Uh, am I running too fast?
No, sir.
Uh, so, okay. All I'm saying is that um, even with respect to OpenAI or Gemini, ultimately you integrate these interfaces with your application code. Correct? So, if you have got a chat mechanism that you have developed, ideally that chat mechanism should call OpenAI or Gemini to interact with the LLM. Similarly, what we have developed out here is Ollama and the implementation of LLM. Um, Ideally, this setup you should be able to call through some API, some Python code, so that it get integrated with your existing products. No,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is where the next step, which I will keep it very brief. How do we integrate the Llama with Ollama models with Python? So for that, let's go back quickly. Yeah. So once you and I can give you this list, or maybe you can also use ChatGPT to do that. So I will quickly walk you through. What you need to do is to once you have downloaded this installed, you can go on to the command line prompt. Command line prompt, because I know that some of you may not be using command line prompt at all. So for that, you need to go. Yeah, you need to press Window and R, and you will get onto the run prompt. This is a DOS prompt, right? This is available in right front of you. So what I need to do is to once this is available, just to make sure that everything is working fine, I'll say Ollama list. So this is the output that we have, right? And then what I need to give is this is how the local this Ollama is actually hosted. It's exposed on the port number 111434. So let me just quickly copy this and see if this is working out. If it throws a JSON, that means it's working. So if you look at it, it actually has given back a response which is JSON. It has not failed. So uh, Ollama is ready. The API is also ready. Now let's go to Python code. In Python, uh, yeah, you may need to install pip install request. So request is a package in Python that that helps you to call HTTP requests, right? So for this, maybe let me see. And for this, you need to go on to, and I'm assuming that you are all are using Anaconda. This was something which we had discussed. So on the command prompt, you will write pip install requests, request, sorry. It is, what?
Install spelling.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Laksh. Yeah, so it is already there, right, in my system. You may have to install at your end, because most likely it will not be there in your system. So once you are done, um, this is the source code that you will use to check or maybe pass a prompt. There are two ways to deal with it. One is generate, and another is chat. There are two different source code which I will provide you, which you can also get it from ChatGPT, not an issue. Why there are two different source code? This is for a one single prompt. You ask a prompt and you are not getting into a kind of a chat kind of conversation with LLM. So you do not need the context, right? So for that, generate will be sufficient. In case if you want a context to be retained, wherein you are asking question and then you are asking a follow-up question and again a follow-up question, and that's where the chat aspect will come into the picture, right? So here we are building a prompt, say you are a senior AI architect, how should enterprise adopt local LLM safely? So this is how you can actually build the source code. Let me quickly show you how it is working out. So this is I already have tested, so it's a running code. I'll just show you how it is working, right? When it takes some time. It is taking some time. I think probably the way it is hosted onto the cloud, and it is also the one that I'm using is actually working on a shared hardware. So this the response has come, right? It is pretty much raw. Maybe you have to write a piece of code to make it look easy to digest by the people who are going to work on this, are going to read through this, right? So this is a generate one, which was a single prompt. If I go on to chat again, if I run this again, it will take some time, but it will. So what it will do, it will hold the memory context. It will let the response come. Then I'll talk about some other parameters. Okay, yeah, the time it has come. So it is there is a response available. It is talking about. So the question was, as a architect, how can you safely adopt LLM frameworks? And this is the entire list which is it has given. Let me go back to the. See, I'm running through this because these are so easy in the days of Chat GPT that you have to all you have to do is to ask a prompt and they will generate a source code for you. Right? In any case, I will be providing this deck as well. So that should not be a problem. Uh, this is important for you to know that when we are developing this particular code, here we are providing the URL, right? And the API that we are actually going to get integrated with. Here the API name is generate, here the API name is chat, right? And this is where the payload is being developed, where and this payload will finally be given to the API to respond to. So here what we are doing, we have got a model which we are going to refer to, right? Which is in this particular case, this is the name of the model, it is on the cloud. Then we are building the prompt. The prompt is that you are a senior AI architect. How should enterprise adopt local LM safely, right? So if you even if you see look at this, some of the aspects that we touch base during the prompt engineering, we spoke about role, we spoke about the background, right? We spoke about the context, right? And the question that you're asking, how important it is for us to make sure that the prompt that we are writing, it should be rich, right? In case if you're generating some text, who are you? For whom you are generating it? All those things needs to be supplied. So even when we are doing all these, when we are building this payload, those parameters are built in a way that you it's expected for you to populate them. Um, okay, so this is the model, this is the message where the prompt has been generated, and then some of these options where we are talking about the what will be the temperature, a top P and num CTX. So these are the three different parameters. Temperature would mean what is the randomness, right? In case if and 0.2 to a very large extent, it means that you're expecting a very focused response. If you can recall 0.1 to 1, that's a temperature reading, right? If it is towards 1, that means that the responses will be random, more creative. 0.2 would mean that it is going to be there will be minimum randomness that will be involved, and it will be much more focused, almost kind of a robotic. Top P here means that uh, um, uh, among the choices that you are making, are you picking the top three, top four, something of that sort, right? So 0.9 means that you are only considering the top one. It again, it actually varies from 0 to uh, 1. 1 would mean that only pick up the top one, and 0 would mean that okay, pick up anything which is random, right? And num CTS is more about the context windows, the size of the context window. So you can actually, in a way, why I'm sharing this. So when you're calling uh, uh, the calling these APIs, or you are integrating yourself with the local LLM, all these things can be customized, right? So when you are building a solution, you can respond that okay, temperature I will control out there. This is a use case where I need focused response, and this is the use case where I am okay to have some creative responses. Right? Again, all those choices you can make. Yeah, I think so. So this is what I wanted to cover today. Um, let's bring up questions if you have any.
Is there a way we can protect this API using any tokens? Are there any configurations already available?
Mm, can you say that again, Vishu?
So
Part of it I understood.
we
Mhm.
are hitting this API local host. I mean, wherever the
Yeah,
Ollama is hosted, API
yeah,
slash API chart or create. So
yeah.
can we protect this API using any key or server keys?
Oh yeah, we can very well do that. And this is, but there is a work in progress. So if you
Okay.
go, if I take you back, um, see if you look at this potential risk, and as I said that lot of things which we are talking about, which we are discussing, there is work in progress, Vishu. So here,
Okay.
what we are trying to say that there is a security vulnerability wherein some of these keys, there is a possibility that it can be generated without consent. Now we need to explore this further uh, and understand how vulnerable we are onto this particular aspect. Vishu, this is worth exploring.
Okay. Sure, sir.
Right.
And there will not be any limit on the number of tokens, right, sir?
Now, so what is happening? Uh, I'll take you to the Ollama site in that case. See what is happening when we are querying here, right? Uh, if it is on the cloud, because all these models, they are hosted on the
Ollama
Ollama
cloud.
Ollama cloud, right? Which is kind of shared. At this point in time, they have not monetized it.
Okay.
So they will also do monetization. This is what they have already called it out. So they're not putting anything into gray zone. They will go and monetize it after some time. Once I think the system is stable. Uh, This is for the cloud version, Vishu. But in case if you are able to download something, any
Mm.
of these models, then context is completely up to you. So
Okay.
if you want to pick up a context, you want to keep the memory context to a particular level. Why you would do it? You will do it because maybe 1,000 users in your organization, they are accessing this model that you have created, right? And if there is no context window, a lot of resources will get consumed, correct? So you want to make sure that there is some kind of limit.
Mm.
But again, it's an architectural level decision which you have to take.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question?
Uh, yeah, yes. So, like this is the Ollama, like currently if we're talking about the Ollama, this is the interface of the models, like
Yeah, correct.
to connect the some of the models. But if we want to train it, like to do some particular task or like for querying or that, can we do with this also?
Uh, Laksh, that's a very good question. See, when you are talking about all these models, they are pre-trained model. Though there are two kind of models which I spoke about. One is
Yeah.
pre-trained and
Mm,
another one is basic. See, in our capacity, um, I'll be as humble as possible. We cannot actually train a basic one to the level of level which we want. It is it is actually a humongous task, but
yeah.
still they have provided it. So it is actually the intermediate models that we are going to use, which are
Okay.
actually pre-trained.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how the LLMs respond, how the reasoning is done, to some extent, these models actually depict it. So if you look at it, see, this is GPT. If you see,
Yeah.
right, so it is trained on 120 billions parameters. So we probably have to go and read that what does this mean? Does it relate to GPT 4 point something, or it is GPT 5 point something, which is the latest one, or it is
Okay.
a slightly outdated version, correct?
Okay.
And
Okay.
then on the basis of that, we have to decide. The one more thing which we need to also consider is that in case if these models are latest, you can assume that they are going to occupy a lot of, they are going to use a lot of resources. So you have to probably trade off somewhere in between.
Okay.
You got it right, Laksh?
Yeah, I got it about that the one like the models one. But if we so it means like we can't do train like to can't train
Yeah.
these model to that
No, no.
extent like the which
Sorry.
one we want. So
Yeah, yeah. So I'm so sorry. I actually answered a part of your question only, Laksh. So all I'm saying is that a lot of capabilities already these models would have.
yeah,
Now, let's assume that you want, for example, uh, you want to build a court,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you want to take a lot of PDFs into consideration before you do
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Now, those PDFs are not available with OpenAI.
yeah, yes,
These are very much proprietary, right?
correct,
So in
correct.
that case, if you can follow my cursor here, this is the place where you will go and upload those files,
Yeah,
right? So when you upload these files, uh,
yeah,
this is the local intelligence that you are building on top of the LLM.
okay,
It is a
okay.
proprietary. It's an implementation of RAG that we are doing here.
Okay, okay. Got it, got it. So like this one is a, like local install. We can do like some of on some extent we can do that, but if we want to like like to train it to for the coding level, like for the coding and for the like the database extraction or for something like that, we can't do that. I think for that, what I'm asking like for that, what do you suggest like for the train the model like to locally store that particular model and that or this will be helpful for us like this one the UI.
Yeah, I think Laksh, we need to experiment this.
Yeah,
Uh, my understanding is that uh, this should be helpful. This
Okay.
will be much
Okay.
better when, so in a way what you we are saying is that if we have implemented the local version
Yeah.
and it is available in your LAN, not in on the cloud, assuming,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
actually you can expose the entire Agilex code to it using this. Maybe in case if the entire logic can come into some specific files, or maybe there are multiple projects, upload all those projects here, right? Let it get trained. It may take some time.
Yeah.
Start asking questions, right?
Yeah.
You also let them know that no, this is not a good question. This is not a good response. The way when
Yeah.
you go on Chat GPT, it asks for a thumbs up, thumbs down. It asks for
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
different responses, right? So
Yeah.
similarly, you also need to train your LLM for some time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. But it can be used for generating code which is actually relevant for your own organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? You have any follow-up question, Laksh?
No, not now. I think we can try this, and if we get anything like, then we can discuss this. Further, we can
Yes.
discuss this. But now, for now, it's okay.
Yeah. 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 Anything from you, Lakshya, Mustri, uh, Yogita, Vishu? Oh, okay. I think if that is the case, we can stop here. Um, and as I said that in the days to come, we'll be focusing more and more um around how the some of the latest things which are happening in AI world, right? How we can do their implementation. So a lot of focus will be there on implementing local LLMs, uh, exploring SLMs, and then agentic, right? So in the next 6 weeks or so, we'll be totally focused on it. And I would request you to explore some of these concepts, come back. So it is not a session. These are not the sessions where I will be getting into a monologue. I will request you to come forward and share what you have found out. In case Laksh, you try to do this on Agilex source code,
Yeah.
great. Or maybe you can implement something of your own, very basic one, right? Expose this to this particular implementation and see how the impact is. So
Yeah.
that's one way of looking at it, right? So
Okay.
whatever research that you would do on top of it, please bring it onto the forums and we'll start talking about it. So it's going to be a collective conversation that will take place from now onwards.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. Shall we stop now?
Yes.
All right. Okay. You have a great rest of the Sunday and enjoy. I'll meet you in the next Sunday now. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye bye.
okay, sir. Bye bye.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks. Bye.